Hilton brings you new ways to stay, with experiences that let you capture the glory days. Introducing the Graduate Hotels. Each inspired by local college towns, these stays are always original and never boring. Get in touch with traditions all across the country and enjoy a stay that's a class above the rest. Book at Graduate Hotels with Hilton Honors Points at Hilton.com. It's a win-win. Hilton, for the stay.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Howdy, y'all. Welcome to the oasis of civilization here in the middle of the wild, wild money west. I'm your sheriff, Don McDonald. There's my deputy, Tom, over there, and his little cohort, Aria. We're here to help you, to help guide you through the wilderness of money.
I wake up every day wondering which accent you'll use to begin the show. It always start with an accent, and then the show ends. It's back to the same Don. So it's good to hear you, Sheriff. I'm glad to hear that. And
in the end, it's always the same old Don.
Got my spurs on there, got my chewing tobacco in, ready to go.
There's a reason why I started this with a Wild West sheriff voice.
Please.
That's because I kind of feel sometimes like I'm dealing with the wild, wild west when it comes to particularly the internet of money, the internet of investing, the internet of advice, but it's also the radio of advice and some of the print, but they're not as bad. But the more technological you get, the wilder the ride.
The access is easy, and the protections, I mean, basically people have sort of First Amendment protection. They put all kinds of stuff up there, and then they say, well, I'm just an author. I can write what I like. I'm not a registered person, so they get off easy there. And I know you're going to talk about a fairly egregious case. It's still pretty amazing, actually.
I'm going to talk about a number of fairly egregious cases.
More than one.
Most of them perpetrated by the exact same people, which is shocking.
No.
I've done a lot of research over the past week into this, a lot of research. And today's question of the day.
Oh, okay.
The question of the day.
Standing
that's
by.
An O with a little apostrophe.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a real investment?
So the emphasis is real, or the emphasis is investment? I think it should be, is it an investment?
Well, I would do that, but there can be some argument there. When you qualify it with the word real, then, it takes Vegas off the table, for example. Vegas
hopefully
is not a real lottery ticket.
Hopefully.
An obvious example of not a real investment.
Limited partnerships?
Gray area.
Yeah, sadly.
Gray area. Could be.
Equity indexed annuities?
Not a real investment.
Just looking for your blood pressure to go up to start the program. Okay.
And to win, all you have to do is play.
Oh, okay. You call and
you don't even have to get anything right. Again, an oasis of financial civilization in a desert of garbage.
So
now I have a question for you.
Yes. Okay.
The number one place for podcasts in America, by far, is a service called iTunes.
Makes sense.
From Apple. 70 to 80% of all of the podcast listening in the world is done through iTunes.
And that won't last, by the way, because eventually Amazon will own Apple, that will then change the name of it to something Amazonian.
They ran out of money with the purchase of
No, they borrowed that money. They borrowed $14 billion. Hey, whatever.
Somehow, I just don't imagine anyone. It's kind of like buying Exxon. Can you borrow that kind of money?
That's real money.
I mean, we're starting to get close to $1 trillion now. That's like a whole country. No, that's bigger than most countries. Apple's a country. I want to talk about these podcasts and the bad stuff out there after this.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Quick break. In addition to our Talking Real Money podcast, we have a few other tools to help you gain a better understanding of the concept of real investing. Of course, there's Real Investing Journal. That's offered in both a free online version and in an inexpensive printed magazine. Explore both those options at realinvestingjournal.com, realinvestingjournal.com. Then we teach classes. We offer most of our live classes in the Seattle area because that's where most of our offices are, but most of you live elsewhere. That's why we're now offering the same classes that Tom and I taught at Retire Meet online right now, free at talkingrealmoney.com under the video link. Just go to talkingrealmoney.com and then click on the video link. You'll see them right there. Finally, we also manage the wealth or the budding wealth of hundreds of folks like you through our fee-only 100% fiduciary investment advisory firm, Vestory. You'll find our approach is consistent with the message we've been sharing for decades. We always put our clients' needs first. Our fees are among the lowest of any non-robo-advisor, and constant education is one of our core values. Visit Vestory.com for more information on our firm and to take our free no-obligation risk quiz to better understand the level of investment volatility you can tolerate. That's Vestory.com, Vestory.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
Maybe someday they're going to make software that will allow me to create a crowd sound so it can sound more. Because here I was going to start this segment going, and now let's play Is It a Real Investment? And I was hoping to have that crowd thing shouting it behind me.
Could ask
we need software. I need a crowd.
They have. That.
Is it a real investment? You will probably be surprised at what is not a real investment. Easy.
How about a pipe? Is that an investment? You remember pipes? Not the type that have water run through them, but a pipe that was an investment.
Like to smoke?
Oh, for crying out. No, forget it. Leaving it.
A pipe?
Yes.
Pipelines?
I'm going to have to
oil
look
and
it
gas?
up and give you the exact thing again. All right, hang on here.
All right. I'm looking it up, too. Now
Yeah.
you confuse me.
Yeah.
Well, while he's looking that up, I was talking about the podcasts on Apple, and I look at the business podcast.
Private investment in public equity.
Oh, those.
Yeah, those were around for a while. Anyway, I just hadn't remembered because I always liked them.
Boy, was that an obscure reference.
That was very obscure. Trying to show my
Anyway.
investing knowledge there.
Or your investing age. I checked the business podcast because we used to rank in the top 200. This show done as a podcast
Doesn't
we
anymore.
don't anymore.
Wow.
Because there are so many game players out there. This
okay.
is my beef. So when I look at the top 50 podcasts, I see one from Goldman Sachs. Okay, yeah, I've
Top
heard of them.
50 investment or business podcast.
Business podcast,
Okay.
investment or business.
Goldman Sachs.
Then
Got to
I look
expect that.
along and I see Jim Cramer.
Yeah, got to expect
Okay,
that. He's got a lot of
okay, all right,
exposure.
that's good.
Not that
Tony
we like
Robbins.
the advice, but
Tony Robbins.
Okay.
Don't like the advice, but
No.
he's famous.
Yeah,
Bloomberg.
can live with that.
Okay, good. Motley Fool. Heard of them. They're well known. There's this guy named Dave Ramsey. He has two.
Yes, two now.
He's pretty well. He has two. He has Entree Leadership and the Dave Ramsey Show.
Okay.
And then we have the Wall Street Journal. Okay. We have NPR has two. Planet Money and How I Built This.
I can't believe we're not in the
Again,
top 200. That really hurts.
That makes perfect sense. Then we get to things like Marketing Secrets with Russell Brunson.
Well, I never miss that. I jump out of bed every morning to
It's
hear
all
that.
about creating your online sales funnel, whatever the heck
Easy
that
money,
means.
passive money that you make.
Easy passive
cash
money.
flow.
Well,
Got
funny. The number 3 in business right now is one called Easy Residual Income.
Oh, yeah. Set that up.
Easy Residual Income. It has, get this. Hold on, I got to bring it up again here. They have in their reviews 892 5-star reviews. And if you read them, every one of them is obviously fake.
And they're
obviously
getting no
fake.
one. No one is there looking this over. It's just a computer.
I've sent. You have no idea how many notes I sent to Apple in the last
Those
week.
poor people.
I have complained and complained.
Okay, but
and
that's not
complained.
your number one complaint.
No, here it goes. So the
All right.
number one complaint
Yes.
is this guy, his partner. It's Mike and Matt. Mike does Easy Residual Income.
Oh, and there's another. Okay.
Number one
Yeah.
with a bullet.
Mm-hmm.
Maintaining number one now for several weeks is Mike Beju's. Beju, he's getting rich off this. Amazon Secrets with Matt Beju. Matt Beju will sell you coaching for between $5,000 and $10,000.
On how to sell stuff through Amazon.
Sell stuff
Okay.
on Amazon.
All right.
Again, he hasn't been around as long as his buddy Mike, but he has 362 absolute lying reviews, 50 one-star reviews, all of which go, folks, it's obviously a scam. Have you listened? So here's what I'd like. I'm going to deputize you. Welcome back to the Old West thing.
Okay,
See, get it now?
Got it, yeah.
All right, I need me a posse to take care of some of these bad hombres out there. Bad hombres.
You're doing
I
pretty
could
well.
tweet that. I could tweet that.
Yeah.
There's some bad hombres. Who would I sound like if I tweeted that?
Let me take a guess, but I'm
you
not
don't
going
wanna
to say
say,
it.
do
I'm
ya?
not going to say it.
You're a political coward. All right. There's some bad hombres. Here's what I'd like you to do. Go to iTunes. You can do it on a PC or a Mac.
Well, a
Just
lot of
go
you
to
are listening
iTunes.
to our podcast, so that's
Yeah.
easy.
Or people just listening at home. When you get back to your computer, go to iTunes and go to the show Passive Amazon Income. And I don't want you to review it sight unseen. Listen to the first show in which Matt Beju actually says, I know how to game the iTunes system.
Says that on the show?
He says it on the podcast.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, this guy is blatant.
And
You
so
know,
I'm
this is
assuming
like-
Apple's never responded to your inquiries about
They
this.
said, we'll look into it.
Oh, okay. Which maybe they will
It was
eventually.
a standard response.
Yeah,
but
all right.
anyway. So here's what you need to do as my posse.
Hey, the summer's coming. I want to sit outside and anyway, all right, go ahead.
Well,
What
but
do
you
we
can
got?
do this on your iPad.
Okay. What do you
Sitting
got?
outside. Listen to the show.
Yep.
Write an honest review. Seriously, write an honest review.
If you like
and then
it, say
go
you like
through,
it. Okay.
Yeah, you won't. And the most helpful reviews, go through every one of them, all of them that say 5 stars, and hit, was this helpful? No. Was this helpful? No.
Okay,
I'm doing it right now.
not going to take all
No.
that time to do. How long does that
All right,
take?
just write a bad review.
All right. I mean, that'd take them forever.
I just want to overwhelm these lying reviews because
so these
it
are all
bothers
friends
me.
and family. I mean, don't you have to
No,
have a different account?
No. There are. I looked this up too. There are people in Bangladesh.
That you can pay to 4 cents
I
to
did
do
it.
this?
I did it.
So we have a lot of people from Bangladesh who like our show?
I paid them $50. I'm waiting for the reviews. I paid him $50 to write 100 one-star reviews. Out of my own money. I
Wait
paid
a
him
minute. So
personally.
now you're committing a fraud.
I am.
Okay.
But it's a fraud in
At
the
least
name
you're
of
publicly admitting it, I
fighting a
guess.
fraud.
So on our
I didn't know
podcast, we're admitting this now. Okay. That's great.
But if you look at our podcast has been up there for like 5 years.
Yeah.
And we have 18 reviews. Matt Beju, who's been up, his podcast started, I'll give you the exact date. His podcast started on April 7th
Of this year?
of this year.
Oh, goodness.
And he has 362 5-star reviews. He's buying them. They're all made up names like Hubert Matt or Shannon Luke or Angelo Lyle or Luther.Evan.
And by the way, this is one of my struggles with the whole online reviewing system in general. It's because I face this, in another business that I'm a party to, where people just get on anonymously and say, that was the worst meal I've ever had, because one guy who did that said that his favorite meal, and no offense to Denny's, his favorite meal every week was at Denny's. And he didn't like the meal at the place that I knew.
Really?
Yeah. That's horrible because I go to... Because Denny's
is Denny's
so much
doing
better.
wood-fired pizzas now?
I don't know, but that's one of my struggles. It's like
Seems to be no comparison.
Tune all
Yeah,
that
but you know
out.
what bothers me about this is that this is a reputable place.
Yeah, I
It's considered a
understand that,
high
yeah.
quality. And these folks are going there to get business and investing advice, and most of what they're getting is horrible.
Yeah,
That's
it's
sad.
not good advice.
So give us a call with your investments and your investment issues, and we'll try to help you.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
We hope you're enjoying one of the more unique podcasts out there, but we want to remind you that there are other tools we offer to help you get educated about what we call real investing. We publish Real Investing Journal both as a free online version and in an inexpensive printed magazine. You can check those out at realinvestingjournal.com. Then we offer classes, most of which are in the Seattle area, but now we've got a couple of the classes that we taught at Retire Meet online for free at TalkingRealMoney.com under the video link. Just go to TalkingRealMoney.com, click on the video link. And finally, we rarely mention it, but we also manage wealth for hundreds of folks and well over $250,000 through our fee-only 100% fiduciary investment advisory firm, Vestory. We manage money just as we talk about it. We always put our clients first. Our fees are low, and we educate you on a regular basis. Go to Vestory.com to learn more, and you can take our free no-obligation risk quiz to understand the level of investment volatility you can tolerate. That's Vestory.com, Vestory.com. Is it a real investment? I mean, for example,
I'm still trying to get over the fact that you're telling people to go online and commit fraud, but okay, I guess.
No, I told them to
that.
do legitimate reviews. I just wanted to see if you could actually.
You admitted that you paid others not to, though.
As an investigative reporter,
yeah,
I wanted to see how it worked.
But you've admitted that you're trying to spike the system against the guy who's number one.
Against the guy who's spiking the system.
I'm putting it out there. That's okay. I'm not mad. I'm just surprised.
We call it good defense.
I don't know what I call it. It's upsetting.
I don't know. You know what? If it's illegal, then boy, are there a lot of people who are doing something illegal.
Obviously, Apple's got a problem here, and they need to clean this up. So, you've pointed that out.
I'm just trying to bring it to their attention.
I think that's fair. Okay.
And I'm going to send them all the fake reviews and say, here, I did these fake reviews. Steve, you're up. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Hi, Steve.
Hi. Say, I've been investing for about 6 years, and I've put all my money into the S&P 500. And so I feel real smart for how it's done in the last 6 years. But I've looked at your folks' stuff, and now I'm thinking about diversifying. And I'm looking particularly at a fund that's called VXF, which kind of gets me everything from U.S. that's not in the S&P 500.
Is that an ETF? I'm assuming that's an ETF then.
Yes, I'm doing it all through ETFs.
Okay.
Exactly right.
Okay.
And when I look at other things and compare them to the S&P 500, they don't do as well.
What period of time are you looking at?
The Morningstar stuff that I see goes back like 10 years.
Here's the thing to think about. Yeah, the U.S. has had a period of outperformance. Yes, and larger companies generally over that period have had a better performance than smaller ones. But when you look way back, as far back as you can go to really look at numbers.
You don't even have to go back that far. Go to 2000 to 2010.
That's true. Yeah.
Use that period as a benchmark, and you'll find that the U.S. was horrible during that period.
And large got hammered in 2001, 2002 when small and value did well. I mean, this is an interesting question. So I'm going to look at the most numbers I can. Go ahead.
When I look at these charts, are they taking the difference in dividends into account? I'm assuming that the larger companies have bigger dividends than the smaller companies.
Generally speaking.
Well, and remember that only 60% of the companies that are traded have dividends. So when you start to get into most of these returns are going to be reinvested. It was VXF.
Can you give me that symbol again?
VXF.
Yeah, VXF.
Is it Frank?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so your real question is, why would I invest in international stocks when the U.S. has done better over the last 10 years? That's what I'm getting.
Well, exactly. So I've gone to your 411 page and look at what you would suggest for me to invest in with my company. Yep. And you've got just tons of stuff all over the world sort of thing. And I don't know what you gain by doing that. Do you gain more income, or is it just that you don't lose as much?
Well, let's talk about what you gain and what you don't gain. What you gain is greater diversification because instead of owning, I guess all the publicly traded companies in the U.S. makes up about 6,000 companies or 6,500, something like that. Instead, in some cases, you could own as many as 10 or 12,000. So you have more diversification. Number two, you gain the diversification of other economies. There's all kinds of research that shows the returns of those international stocks come from the local economies. They have provided greater returns. But here's the thing I think most importantly. If you go back to 1970, which is about as far back as you can get with emerging markets and some other parts. In an all-equity portfolio, you made over 12% a year. In the S&P 500, you made a little over 10%. So it's had substantially more upside than just being in the U.S. We can continue this conversation if you like.
Yeah, in fact, I want to do that because the other thing I want to talk about is the fact that diversification is not just a matter of increasing your returns. It's also reducing volatility, but it's a little bit of both. Hang on.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Quick break. In addition to our Talking Real Money podcast, we have a few other tools to help you gain a better understanding of the concept of real investing. Of course, there's Real Investing Journal. That's offered in both a free online version and in an inexpensive printed magazine. Explore both those options at realinvestingjournal.com, realinvestingjournal.com. Then we teach classes. We offer most of our live classes in the Seattle area because that's where most of our offices are, but most of you live elsewhere. That's why we're now offering the same classes that Tom and I taught at Retire Meet online right now, free at talkingrealmoney.com under the video link. Just go to talkingrealmoney.com and then click on the video link. You'll see them right there. Finally, we also manage the wealth or the budding wealth of hundreds of folks like you through our fee-only 100% fiduciary investment advisory firm, Vestory. You'll find our approach is consistent with the message we've been sharing for decades. We always put our clients' needs first. Our fees are among the lowest of any non-robo advisor, and constant education is one of our core values. Visit Vestory.com for more information on our firm and to take our free no-obligation risk quiz to better understand the level of investment volatility you can tolerate. That's Vestory.com, Vestory.com.
Now, 63 at Como.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Give us a call. Our phone number is 877-397-5666, 877-397-5666. And no matter when you hear the show, whether you hear it on Saturday or on Sunday or on the podcast, you can call us every Saturday at noon Pacific time or 3 p.m. Eastern, 877-397-5666. Ray, you're next. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Hi there. Hey, Mike, kind of interested in your thoughts on this long-term care insurance. I bought some from your buddies at Genworth, and I mean, when you do the math, it looks like based on the premium, I don't have to be in care for very long before it's paid back all the premiums I ever put in.
Oh, no, that's exactly true. But the reality is the vast majority of us will never be in long-term care.
Well, I don't know. I've seen numbers in the 40 to 60% range for people who are going to have to be in long-term care.
I think it's closer to 1 in 3 or something, or 1 in 2. I don't know. Go ahead, Don.
Actually, of Americans in general, it's less than 1 in 5. Of people in their 80s, it's 41%. But that's people in their 80s.
Right. So my mother and father had policies. They were paying about $200 a month for a face value $100 a day policy, and it had an inflation rider, and it also was a indemnity policy. So it paid the face value when it went into effect. My mother died without ever using a dime of it. But my father was in a basically a nursing home memory care unit for 2.5 years, and it was paying over $5,000 a month toward his care, and basically allowed him to get by without having to dip into savings until he finally died. Without that, he probably would have ended up having to liquidate some assets and go on Medicaid, I guess.
We're not arguing with any of that. None whatsoever.
No, absolutely. No. And it makes sense for some people. As a matter of fact, today, this is going to change. I guarantee this will change really soon. If you are wondering, because the biggest and longest term use of long-term care is for forms of dementia.
Yeah.
Because you're healthy otherwise.
You're living for a long time.
Your brain is a problem, but your body is healthy. there is a test you can get now that I guarantee you in a few years the long-term care insurance companies are going to require you take this before they insure you. But right now, you can get it done for like $179.
Are you gonna do it?
You're talking about a genetic test for Alzheimer's?
It's called 23andMe does a genetic test for a predisposition to Alzheimer's for $179. I just did it.
Yeah.
I just sent it in. I haven't gotten it back yet.
A lot of people,
6 to 8 weeks.
A lot of people don't want to know.
Right. I mean, I guess that's
I
why I
want
was
to know
asking Don. I'm kind of curious.
Because if I have that genetic predisposition,
then
I will buy long-term care.
Oh, okay. There you go.
But they'll be checking too. It'll be in your medical record.
No, it's not. It doesn't go in my medical record because I ordered it outside of the normal medical system.
What
it's
kind
a
of
website
test
called
is it?
20. It's called. It's a company developed by Sergey Brin's wife of Google, and it's called 23andMe.
Okay, well,
swab your cheek. Go find out.
I know that in terms of my long-term care policy, say if I drop dead before I turn 70, basically all my premiums come back to my spouse, I guess. Survivor. So
you have a rider in there that
you have a rider, and they can afford to do that. They've been making money on your money. Yeah. They can absolutely afford to do that.
Fortunately, I got it as an employee, so I didn't have to go through any physical or anything.
Sign me
that.
up for that one.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ray.
Even better. Thanks for the call. We really appreciate it.
I want to mention one thing about employees, by the way, because we restarted this. We did it for a long time, then we kind of didn't do it because it takes a lot of work. And now we have a wonderful intern, a young man who's interested in the business. He's going to pick it up and go again. So if you have a 401k plan and a company-sponsored 401k, 403b, we're going to, again, look at the plans, show you how to build the asset allocation. So if you go to 401411.com, you can send the plan in. We want to see the plans. Bring them to us. We want to look at these. We're doing this project, by the way, in concert with Paul Merriman. He's helping us out. Anyway, so send us the plans. We'll get started on them again.
Yeah, it's really helpful. I go there and look at plans when people just call me. That I run into a neighbor and I say, "Oh, I think we have your plan at 401411.com." It's very helpful.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for educational and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately, consistently predict the future. So past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Vestry, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and disclosures. Are we done now?